Hey. So, let's see. See, I have one viewer. I know I'm like a minute early, but I wanted to make sure that the sound and the video quality is working because the Wi-Fi at my house is out. So and my cell phone signal isn't good enough at my house to do a live video. So I'm at a park, and if you're viewing, if you could just let me know in the comments if the sound is working and if the video quality is good, that would be really helpful before I start talking away, and just making sure everybody can hear me and see me. So just leave me a comment and let me know. Sounds good. Okay, thanks, Henry. Okay. Hi. People are signing on. That's awesome. Welcome. Maybe just say, where you're tuning in from. Say hi. I'm going to try and keep my eye on the comments and try and answer them as they come in. And I'm just happy to be here with you guys right now. First off, let's just check in. How's everybody doing? It's been a pretty hectic, pretty crazy week. And so, thanks for taking the time to be here and with me and talk about that. And just take a few moments and relax and just breathe and just talk about paddling and how we cope through really turbulent times. Paddle as a coach and as a friend and as a part of the Paddle Monster community, we really want to be here for you guys. I realize, where I live, it's a small beach town. I have a secluded beach. Not a lot of things physically actually changed for me this week, but at the same time, so many things have changed. So I can't even imagine what it must be like right now to be in a metropolitan area, to be almost anywhere in Europe right now, dealing with this. But we're in it together. And first off, I just want to say that your team here at Paddle Monster, we're here for you. Reach out anytime. I'll put my email in the comments, and whether you have questions, whether whatever it is about training, about life, we're here for you, and we're gonna get through this together. So yeah. So I want to start off by telling you guys a story. And well, first off, hi Lisa, hi Veronica, hi Aaron, hey June, hi Mark, hi Piotr. Thank you all for tuning in. So the story, you might have heard it before. It's an ancient Chinese proverb, and it goes like this. There is a farmer, and this farmer has one horse, his prize stallion, and that horse runs away. And his neighbor comes over to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear of your bad news of losing your horse." And the farmer replies, "Good or bad, who's to say?" And so then a few days later, the stallion returns, and he brings a few wild mares with him. And the neighbor comes over and he says, wow, this is such great news. I'm so happy for your good fortune. And the farmer replies, good or bad, who's to say? And so a couple days later, the farmer's son is trying to break in one of the wild mares, and he falls and he breaks his leg really badly, and he's partially crippled. And the neighbor comes over to say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear of your son's bad fortune. That's really bad news. And the farmer replies, good or bad, who's to say? So then sometime later, a war breaks out in the nation, and the government enforces a draft for all able-bodied young men, and the farmer's son is not drafted because he has a broken leg. And the neighbor once again comes over to say, well, this must surely be good news. Your son doesn't have to go to war. And the farmer replies, you could probably finish the story at this point, good or bad, who's to say? And the point is, we like to put these labels on things, good, bad, but really it's all a part of the ebb and flow of life, and life keeps going, and there's things that happen, that are out of our control that may seem like really terrible things, but life goes on, and something happens as a part of a chain that wouldn't have happened any other way. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, because I think it's really helpful to think about. These are Buddhist, Taoist kind of philosophies. The title for my talk today, or my live session with you all today, is finding Zen. And Zen is in a Chinese Taoist principle of flow. And there's a metaphor that life is a river that's always flowing, right? You can't stop it. Life, it goes on. There's no pause button. Sometimes we wish there was, but it's flowing, and sometimes it's flowing peacefully and calmly, and then sometimes there's rapids, right? And then there's eddies, and there's obstacles, and there's all things that we have to go around, and we don't have control over the flow, and the obstacles, we only have control over how we navigate them, how we react to them. So I love this analogy because it just reminds us that sorry, I got distracted. People were walking by. That life is always flowing, and we don't have control over the river or the flow of the river, but we have control over how we are in the moment, what we do when there's an obstacle, when we get caught in an eddy, and also more importantly, most importantly, we have control over whether or not we're going with the flow or we're trying to swim against it. And this is a moment in life, or a big moment in life, but really a small moment in life in the big picture of life, of where it's really easy to freak out and try and get caught in an eddy, swim upstream, but the only thing it's going to do is expel more of your energy when this is life, and we just have to go with the flow. So plans change all the time, and for example, things, I love this is a really good paddling analogy. We can't control the weather, right? we can control when we go paddle, or we can control our mindset of how we enter the water. When it's a really windy day, we could go, oh, God, this sucks. Or we could go #love the conditions and go, hey, this is going to make me a stronger paddler today because I'm going to work on how I handle myself in really windy conditions. So apply the love the conditions motto, the Paddle Monster motto, to life and think, okay, I could go, this really sucks, or I could go, how am I going to get a little lower, brace a little harder, and dig a little deeper and handle and be stronger for it. Or, maybe you sit down on your butt, or you paddle on your knees for a few minutes till you get through the rapids, right? We're going through rapids right now. And you're better off, taking a knee than trying to go against the rapids. So just trying to give you some paddling analogies. And so that's a mindset we can apply to life as well. And I just think about all the times where I thought something really horrible happened or was happening, and then I look back days, weeks, months, years later and go, wow, if that didn't happen, the next thing wouldn't have happened, and then I wouldn't be where I am right now. So it's back to the farmer, good or bad, who's to say? It's just life. So so don't freak out. It's important to have a goal, to have a vision of where you want to go, where you want to be in life. But the important thing to do is to not let go of that goal, not let go of that vision, but detach from, let go of how you're going to get there, right? Everyone's world is rocked right now. All of our plans are rocked right now. But that doesn't mean we have to change our dream, our vision, our goal, our, where we want to be, who we want to be. It's just we have to redirect how we get there. And the perfect example is for me, last year, around this exact time, I was going through a pretty bad injury, dealing with a really bad injury, and it was an injury that I was so focused on where I wanted to be, and I thought, it has to be this way. I have to train every day. I have to push to my edge. I have to do things exactly this way in order to get to this place. And I was forcing things, going against the flow in a lot of ways, when there were days when I maybe shouldn't have done that training session or whatever it may have been. And the next thing you know, life went full stop. I hit that obstacle instead of, redirecting around it, slowing down and seeing it coming, right? So, and then what ended up happening was not the end of the world, even though I thought it was in the moment. What ended up happening was I was forced to slow down. I thought my word for 2019, I wrote it down in my journal, and I visioned that my word was relentless, and I was relentless in the pursuit of my dreams and my, paddling career. And, by the end of the year, with a lot more reflection and a lot more journaling, I realized the word that I'd actually been searching for all along was relax. And when you relax, you reach your goals and you accomplish things you're trying to accomplish so much more easier, in a state of ease, in a state of calm, in a state of letting go and attaching to how you're going to do it, but just knowing that it's going to happen. And so that was one of the biggest things that I learned last year was to relax and not get freaked out when things feel like the end of the world, because life goes on, and the next thing you know, well, geez, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am now, and I wouldn't have had the greatest year of my career so far, right? So that's the why. That's the why we need to remain calm. We need to remain positive right now. A little insight, a little advice on, things you can think about to remind yourself that it's all going to be okay, no matter what. And but how do we remain calm and relax, right? That's the hard part usually, is not knowing, okay, I need to relax, but how do I relax? So I can relate it also to paddling. There's no exact formula. There's no exact stroke technique that everyone has to do. You're going to find what works for you. And I'm going to give you some tips right now of what's worked for me and what helps me to feel relaxed and calm and be present in the moment so that I can make the correct navigational choices. But everybody is a little bit different, right? And there are infinite ways that we can relax. And, one of the best ways is to exercise. So I know that, Coach Larry's been talking about ways that you can, even if you're not able to get out of your house right now, that you can still exercise, you can still train, even if it's not in a traditional sense of the way that you're used to training. The most powerful tool that we have as humans is our breath. And breathing happens involuntarily, so we don't have to remember to breathe. Because if we stopped breathing, we would die, right? You could live for days without water and weeks without food, but you wouldn't last more than a couple minutes without your breath. So we often don't think about it, but when you do think about your breath, it's one of the most powerful ways to not only to relax, to be in the moment, to focus, to calm, but also to generate more power and more oxygen, increase your endurance, your stamina. I mean, the breath is just, breath work is just one of the best things that you can do as a person, as an athlete, as a soul. So at the end of this session, I want to do about 5 minutes of a breathing exercise with you guys for those that are staying on till the end. That won't be too much longer. And so I'm going to talk about, we're going to do a breathing exercise, but there are infinite ways that you can focus and breathe and be and be in the moment. And there, I think Lisa did an article earlier this week about there's some apps where you can do guided meditation. We have yoga videos on the Paddle Monster app. Basically, the first step is remembering to breathe and remembering to slow down your breath and be in the moment. So I like to use, in terms of physical things that help, I brought a couple of examples. I use essential oils. This is lavender. This one's called Breathe. I have another one called Balance. Essential oils, they help get your mind, your body to relax. You can use a diffuser. You can use a couple drops in your wrist or your ears or behind your ears. just taking some deep breaths and taking those in are really helpful. Another thing that I find really helpful is Hemp Oil Cbd. This happens to be on sale right now. I can also put the link in the comments. With the company that I work with, we have a sale on CBD right now. If you've never tried it before, it's a really beneficial plant in terms of the way it reacts with your internal system to relax, to calm, to also reduce inflammation and help with recovery too. So I use that a lot. And I also use, I'm looking at my notes, routines. So just like you have a training routine that you follow, that you have habits of, you probably go at a similar time on similar days, and that's when you do your training, right? And you have your processes you go through to get your board and get yourself ready and get out on the water, and you have your pre-workout and post-workout. You know, you've got your routines, and it's part of your life. And so self-care should be one of your routines as well. And self-care meaning, in this case, meaning ways to be more relaxed, right? Be in a state where a state of ease. When you're relaxed, things come with more ease. And even though some people like to claim that, when I'm stressed, I just can accomplish so much more because I have the adrenaline, or I have the fire lit underneath me to get things done. But really, you're more focused. Your brain is more focused when it's calm, when it's relaxed. So you could be even more productive. So self-care, and I know that that's a really hard one too for especially working moms, just people with really busy lives and people that they care for. And, caregivers have a hard time with self-care because they feel like they don't have time and they need to take care of all these other people and put other people first. And I think that that's wonderful. However, another analogy is having a full cup. And I like to think you're basically, you start with a full cup, and every time you help someone, give energy, attention, focus, whatever it needs to be to help someone else, you pour out of your cup. You give a little bit, And if you're not refilling your cup, well, the next thing you know, it's going to be empty, and you're not going to have anything left to give. And so if you keep replenishing and filling your cup with self-care, you're going to be able to help those people that need your help, that you care for, your family, your children, so much better because you're pouring from a full cup. So even the more I think that you have to care for others, the more important it is to care for yourself so that you'll do an even better job. So we were talking about routines. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but we're talking about a routine of self-care, and the reason I like routines is because then it becomes a habit. It's not like, I really know I need to do that. I know I need to, do my stretching, do my breathing, do my quiet time, or write in my journal, whatever it is. But if it's not a routine, you don't fit it in, right? So I have a routine for me. It's first thing when I wake up in the morning, I have about an hour of a routine that I do, and then it's about an hour before I go to bed, I have a routine that I do. And in the morning, it's setting you up to have a nice, happy, relaxed, calm, productive, wonderful day. And at night, it's setting you up to have a nice, restful, calm, happy, and restorative sleep, which sleeping, by the way, getting enough proper sleep is one of the best ways to boost your immune system, which is super important right now. So maybe you don't have as much time to do an hour in the morning or an hour at night, and so it doesn't have to be that for you. It can be 5 or 10 minutes in the morning or at night, but just taking time for yourself to do some of these relaxing self-care practices, but make it a routine so that you do it every day. And so things like thinking of all the things you're grateful for. Right now there's a lot of things that we're dreading, that we're not we're not stoked about. But instead, take a few minutes and just think, or write down, even better, things that you're really grateful for. And it sounds so simple. It is so simple, but it really does change your mind frame to a really positive, like, what, like, those are good things I have going on right now. And like, that's just where you want to constantly keep putting your mind and your focus, so like, it's a great thing to do first thing in the morning or right before bed. It's gratitude, thinking, journaling, and then stretching and yoga. Maybe we'll do another live session with another yoga class, or you can go on the Paddle Monster app and we've got a few yoga videos. And I definitely need to put some more of those up. But the reason yoga is so powerful is, one, yes, you're stretching your body, you're, loosening up, relaxing physically, but the more important part of it is actually that it helps you be present in the moment, because you need to really focus on your breath. So let's do some breath work, and for about 5 minutes, and then that'll probably be the end of the little live session. And if anybody has any questions, you can put them, and if I don't see them before, I'll try and answer them at the end or in the comments afterwards. So you can do this standing, seated, or even better, lying down, and you can just listen to my voice. And if you're lying down, you can put your feet up on a chair or something that feels really nice, so that your back is nice and relaxed and flat. And if you're sitting, just make sure you're up straight, and if you're standing, make sure you're up straight and your feet are hip width apart underneath your hips. And so wherever you are, take a deep breath in and let's kind of sigh it out. And then take a deep breath in and just relax, drop your shoulders, just sigh it out. And I want you to take your hands to your rib cage. Yeah, you can see my rib cage. To the sides of your rib cage. And so if you've done any yogic breathing, they talk a lot about breathing into your belly. And so, not that belly breathing is incorrect, but as athletes, I think we can do even better and breathe diaphragmically, if that's a word. So not expanding our belly, but expanding our diaphragm, which is the muscle that we use most prominently to breathe. So if you put your hands on your lower ribs, and as you inhale, you want to feel your ribs expanding out, as if like there's space being created between your fingertips as you inhale, and then, as you exhale, you just relax and release that down. And so just taking a few deep breaths here and just trying to feel that you're expanding your rib cage, not just out, right? It's not just the belly coming out, but we're trying to go out to the sides, and we're even trying to think about in 360 degrees. Our diaphragm is expanding around our lower rib cage, and then relaxing. And make sure, check in, keep breathing, but check in that your shoulders are down, maybe even slightly back and down. If you are seated or standing, take them slightly back and down, but then pull them wide apart. And on your next big inhale, still thinking about breathing the rib cage really wide, but think about broadening through the whole back, really wide and exhaling, release. And so you should feel nice and open across the front of the chest, nice and broad across the shoulders, and maybe even thinking about getting longer through the sides of the body. And basically, as you're breathing here, and I'm talking not breathing, but hopefully you're breathing, nice and calmly and slowly and deeply, expanding your diaphragm in 360 degrees and then relaxing it back down. And if your hands are still on your rib cage, maybe you want to go ahead and relax them on your sides. As you're breathing here, feel as if you're creating space inside your body. Your spine is getting taller. Again, your chest is open, your collarbones are broad, the back of the shoulders are broad, the back of the rib cage is broad, the sides of the rib cage are expanding. And the next time you exhale, go ahead and contract slightly the abdominals in and up. Just get out all the air. And so we're going to do several more breaths like that, inhaling, expanding 360 degrees through the diaphragm, and exhaling everything down, but then the belly's going to just slightly draw in and up, getting all the air out. So go ahead and keep breathing, but just relax now. Not focusing so much on the expansion. Hopefully by doing the last several breaths, trained a bit and reminded the body a bit how you would like it to be breathing. And now let's just let it flow and let it breathe like that on its own. And now, taking your attention to some other areas of your body, check in with the muscles on your face and see if you're tense at all in your forehead or your temples or your jaw or your cheeks or your lips, and just relax your face, right? We can hold a lot of tension in our jaw. We don't realize that. So relax your jaw, maybe gently swallow, part your lips, and relax your neck, right? Relax your shoulders. Still breathing nice and slowly and deeply. Relax your chest and your belly. And then we've just done a lot of expansive breathing through the back body. So now just feeling the back body relaxed. If you're lying down, feeling it really firmly supported by the ground. And feeling your hips relax. Are you holding any tension in your hips, your butt? Is it squeezed at all? Can you let that go? Can you let your hips go? And your legs? And even your knees and your ankles and your feet and your toes. And just the next 2-3 breaths, just scan the body. In the moment, focusing on our breath. Being present, being calm. And just in this state, just know that, the last couple minutes of breathing that we did together, you can go there anytime. All it takes is 10 deep breaths. 3 lines of gratitude, and you can shift from a really negative or anxious space into a calm, relaxed, and positive space, right? So 10 deep breaths takes like 2 minutes. If you could do 5 minutes, that'd be 2.5 times as much relaxed space, right? So, just wanted to do that really simple breathing exercise for you, and hopefully we'll be back on the Facebook Live next week with some more love and gratitude, because I have a lot of that for you guys, for my Paddle Monster family, my whole paddle family. And again, we're here for you. Reach out. And I just hope that everybody's doing great and sending love, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in, for being a part of our family, and it's all gonna be okay. Everything's okay. Bye.